Welcome to the replay. And hello, tea family. I'm hoping the third time is the charm this time. We have done the entire live once all the way through, and we did another part of one before we finally able to get and convince Facebook to let us go live. So it's been that kind of a day. Bear with us. I apologize to everybody who was here on time. You know that 6 o'clock, East Central Time. What time? I don't even know what time zone I'm in anymore. That's how today has gone. And this is, like I said, this is take 3 because the first one I did the whole thing. Like the whole thing. And I was like, nobody's shown up. That's highly unusual. So, welcome. Welcome, tea family. Welcome to the craziness. Again, I'm just going to remind you all, if you have any questions or you want to share us, just say hello. Please put it in the comments. It's just that kind of crazy today. But what we did do is we did brew up some of our double spring leaf tea. There we go. And today is the last day that you can drink this tea because the last day you can drink. This is the last day you can purchase this tea. I told you, it's that kind of a day. And I stopped drinking my tea as I'm trying to undo everything that I did so that I can start from scratch again. But this is the last day. It is only available for 4 days every leap year, and it starts on leap year and ends 4 days later. I am going to show you what it looks like. There you go. Oh my gosh, I keep smelling it and it's just so delicious, but I really want to get to drinking it. I will tell you, this is, though it is a white tea, green tea blend with blue cornflowers and a touch of vanilla bean in it. It is a 2-minute first time brew, but you can brew it for 3 minutes. So, all right, everybody, just thanks for hanging with us with all the crazy tech issues. Like I said, went live the entire first time, did the whole thing, and then we realized it didn't hit. And hi, Diane, you're drinking Serene Sunrise. That's so my favorite. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it has been that kind of a day. We did the whole thing, then we started to redo it, and then of course it didn't go on again. We had to completely reboot the system. So thanks for hanging with us. I feel like I've lost my brain because it was already that kind of a chaotic day, and then add this to it. But I do have my cup. I have my matching teapot that I did it in, but my handy dandy assistant stole that, and he told me I'm not allowed to get it back until it's empty. So I am enjoying the double spring leaf tea.
Well, is it?
It is empty now, he tells me. Okay, so we're talking about tier trays. I have one over on our breakfast bar that's for decor. This is not, to me, this one is not for decor. This one is for tea time. Whether it's Rich and I and we're just doing a tea for 2, or if we're going to have a couple of friends over, this is what we would use. And I want to show you a couple of things about it. You might see some crumbs on it. Again, I did this before before the tech issues. So, you'll notice that each layer is bigger. Like this is the biggest layer, then this is the middle one, and then the small one. We're going to talk about that. And we're going to kind of talk about what goes on there. Again, questions that you have, put in the comments. But see, here's it's March, so I have to use my set that my good friend brought me from Ireland. Put this down here so it doesn't get hurt or broken. Okay, so we're going to put this over here. All right. It's that kind of a day. All right, so what we were talking about here is the tiers for the tray. So if you're having a more traditional afternoon tea, this wouldn't be a full tea, but this would be an afternoon tea. The 3 layers matter. And so this bottom layer is where you would have your sandwiches, okay? And we don't really eat carbs, so we don't have bread in our house. And so we have these like Wassa crackers. And so this one has meat on it, roast beef. You could put a little mustard, horseradish sauce, whatever you would like on roast beef, and that would be one. Now you would normally, I used to use cookie cutters and cut up my bread, or at least do triangles and cut off the crusts, or make little squares or triangles or whatnot. The other way of doing it, and then something else, because a lot of people are not eating or they're watching their carbs, is cucumber and favorites are some of my favorites. So Diane, no, my handy dandy assistant did not help me clear the tray by eating it. I didn't let him. Once we realized we had the tech issue, I was like, okay, let me quickly put it on the table in front of me, and we're going to try this again. So he's sitting over there waiting to eat it all to help me. But
you're stopping me.
But anyway, so another twist you can do is not have the bread there and just do the little cream cheese topping on your cucumber. Okay. So your big sandwiches, they're normally bigger. Now, one of the things that I really enjoy that I know a lot of people traditionally don't, but to me they're so yummy, are cress sandwiches, and I didn't have any cress. That's just not something we carry on a regular basis. But another one that you can do are basically butter and cheddar sandwiches. And so you just butter the bread, and then you put a really good, robust, sharp cheddar on it, especially white cheddar. White cheddar is always my preference anyway, because there's no colors or anything in it. But those would be some sandwiches. You could do the chicken salad. You could do kind of whatever. I have been to teas where they did a teddy bear tea for the little kids, and they could do grilled cheese on their layer down here, or they could do peanut butter and jelly or a Nutella or whatnot. But basically, this is going to be your kind of hearty food. Now, a tea is not supposed to necessarily be a meal as much as it's kind of a nice snack in the mid-afternoon to get you from lunch to a later dinner at like 10. So it was kind of a heavy snack, so to speak. So you wouldn't necessarily have a ton of sandwiches, but you might have one or two, like a half a sandwich, two little different tries on here, two different things. Then my next one, I am so excited about this. So you're going to see me not really eating any and not cheating at all on this. I didn't even put stevia in my tea, which sometimes I do, because this next layer is really my favorite. Like, this is absolutely my favorite. And this is where we have scones. Now, this is a fresh scone that we made here today. Light, fluffy. The thing I want you to consider, though, about scones is they should not be super sweet. This is not a muffin. This is not a cake. This is a scone, and so it is supposed to be light. It is supposed to be airy. It is not supposed to be dense and heavy. It is lighter than a biscuit, but it has a little sweetness to it, but it's not supposed to be sweet, because what goes on here also are preserves. Now, this one is a no sugar added strawberry jam. This one also has the added step that it is completely seed-free. I have some friends that have, one in particular has diverticulitis, so I always want to make sure I have some jams or jellies or something so that if they come over here and we decide to have tea, then they don't have to worry about that. But typically you're going to want to have, I don't know, 2 or 3 different kinds. My mom likes peach preserve or apricot preserves. People might want peach. There's a lot of different raspberry. Everybody has a different
marmalade. Yeah,
orange marmalade. So this is also where you would put your lemon curd if you were going to have that on here. So the sweetness comes from here, from your jams. And unlike in the U.S., we're not gobbing stuff on there. It's just a little bit. This is not supposed to be an overly sweet dessert tray. In fact, this is, if you're having a cream tea, it's just on here. And where do they get that cream tea? Well, right here. Right here. Do you see this? That's because there's nothing in it other than the spoon. Because the clotted cream just didn't come out quite right, because we forgot the ingredients, and realized too late. And then we were going to do a backup plan, which you find a lot in the U.S. is people won't have that delicious clotted cream. Instead, they'll do whipped cream on here. Yeah, we have milk in the fridge, but no cream in the fridge. So this is your imagination. There's beautiful clotted cream. And I highly encourage you, if you've never tried clotted cream, it is not overly sweet at all. It is not sweet. It is just a really thick and creamy cream, and it is amazing on the scone when you add in a little bit of the sweetness. And this is why I could just live off of this cream tea situation right here. Now, as I'm building, I am talking about a tea, but one of the things you need to consider is what tea are you going to have with it? Because the difference between an afternoon tea is you would have one tea and you'd have all these different flavors and layers. And I know I haven't gotten to the top yet. We got to save that one. But you want to go and have one tea that's going to go really well. It's going to complement and contrast some of the different flavors. So you have to think carefully when you do that. Another way, sometimes when I do tastings, I will have a different tea for every level. So that means they're going to try 3 different teas. And that enables me to think outside of the box with regard to the teas, because it's not as difficult to find one tea that's going to match all the food. This tea would match with everything that I have here today. It is very light, it is very airy, it is very delicate, it has a vanilla flavor to it, which would go beautifully with the cream and down here. So you can do that. And like an Earl Grey is a standard. Some of your black teas are standard, but there are a lot of delightful white and green and oolong teas that would also be able to be used for all the layers. Now there is another way to do it. It just makes for a really crowded table at a tea room, and that is everybody get a different tea and mix and match around. But if you don't want to share cups, that's a lot of teacups on the table. But that's another way you could potentially do it. All right, so this third layer on our tea tray right here. Well, what I wanted to put on here was a beautiful strawberry. And then I was going to have another one dipped in chocolate, because this is your dessert tray, which is why there's enough for like 1, maybe 2 bites of a dessert up here. But the strawberries were in the back of my fridge, and they turned a little bit too quickly, so they wouldn't be appetizing out here. This is also where you would do like a 1 or a 2 bite cheesecake if you wanted to do something like that, a tea cake. This is definitely your dessert, but they're really small. They're like 2 inches by 2 inches. They are typically a 1 or a 2 bite dessert type of thing. So I like to do fruits, chocolate, a really nice high quality chocolate truffle or something like that. So I couldn't find any strawberries that were good to show you. So what I have is a cherry, because that's what we have for other fruit in our refrigerator. You could do cherries, grapes. If you wanted to do fruit up here, traditionally it's more the cakes and truffles and different things like that. It's the dessert. And then this is as close as I come to chocolate, is I have 2 Hershey's Kisses up here. We don't keep a lot of sugar or candy in the house, but that's how you would do it. And that's where you would have that tea, where you would have your teapot and you would drink your tea and enjoy, and you would eat from the bottom up. Everybody wants to try dessert first, and I'm all about eating dessert first because life is short. But when you're doing an afternoon tea, you really start at the bottom and work your way up. Now, does anybody else have any other questions for us?
Where's the steak?
There's no steak on our tea tray. I think it's the steak is still on the hoof around us. We have a lot of cattle around here. So I do want to do a reminder. Last day to order the double spring leap year tea. It will not be back till next leap year. It's only available every 4 years for 4 days. Now, next week, we are going to be diving into all about Harmony, and that is one of our tea blends. It comes out March 1st, so it's already available now, and it goes for 4 months. It's one of our limited editions. It's one of our best sellers. It is a green tea with strawberries and orange, and always sells very, very well because so many people like it and they look forward to it. So that's what we're going to be doing next week. We're going to talk about that and a lot of different things. Does anybody else have any questions while we're on here? Obviously, the first time when I did it and the live wasn't working, nobody had any questions for me either. So, you know, no biggie. You gotta do what you gotta do sometimes. It was just craziness. So I do appreciate everybody hanging with me as we had a delay. And this is not a prop. Can you tell? Just gonna have a little bite here. Yeah, so like you see, I did not smother this. There's just a little bit on top. I can't.
Hey, get a share.
No sharing. There is no sharing tonight. All right, well, if nobody has any questions, thanks for joining us. Hopefully it'll be a little bit less messy and a little less crazy next week. As always, you can reach out with questions during the week as well. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful week.